Today we're talking about a true automotive legend, the 1954 Volkswagen Beetle. Can you believe it's been 70 years since this iconic bug first rolled off the production line? Let's dive into what makes this particular year so special and why Beetle fans, like myself, just can't get enough of these little wonders. Personal connection. Now, I've got to tell you, I'm not just talking about this car from a distance. I've been lucky enough to own a few 54 Beetles myself, and let me tell you, it's been an absolute joy. Throughout my career, I've had the pleasure of owning quite a few Beetles, but there's something extra special about the 54. Check out my mini restoration series I have on my 1954 convertible that I currently own, the birth of an icon. So, why is the 1954 Beetle such a big deal? Well, folks, 1954 was a bit of an upgrade year for our beloved bug. This is when Volkswagen was starting to hit its stride with the Beetle, refining the design and engineering that would make it a global phenomenon. Let's break down some of the amazing features that made the 54 Beetle stand out. 1. The engine. The 54 came with a peppy 1,192 cubic centimeter air-cooled flat-4 engine. Now, 36 horsepower might not sound like much today, but back then it was more than enough to get you zipping around town or cruising down the highway. This year introduced larger intake valves, slightly larger piston and cylinders, altered cylinder heads, and better cooling. 6.6:1 compression was introduced late 54. In some territories, there is some historical data that 30 horsepower was at the start of the year for the 54. Also, it was the year the oil bath air cleaner was officially introduced as a standard feature. Break-in driving requirement was also dropped for the engine. 2. The oval rear window. This was the first full year of the now famous oval rear window. It's a small detail, but it's one that Beetle aficionados go crazy for. It gives the car a softer, more rounded look that's just classic. For the history buffs out there, March 10th of 1953 was the first oval window. 3. Interior changes. This was the year where leatherette seats were a standard feature on all USA-bound Beetles. There was a slight change in the dashboard as well. The chrome bezel and pull handle was now standard on the ashtray door. A three-way dome light was added in this year too, and they removed the push-button ignition start button from years prior. In addition, they removed the cigarette lighter that was conveniently mounted under the dash. The rear backrest seat received a bungee strap to stop it from flopping forward when you hit the brakes. 4th, semaphore turn signals. Remember those cool little arms that popped out to signal turns? The 54 was one of the last years to feature these before switching to standard blinkers. Late 1955 was the official end to the semaphores for all USA-bound bugs. Late 1954 also saw a change to the rear tail lights in the USA. The egg tail lights were introduced, which removed the top lens, but only had a 6-month lifespan. 5. Robust build quality. These cars were built to last, and the fact that there are still some 54s left on the road today, with a sales number of only 8,000 or so sold in the USA, is a testament to their durability. I do love the solid feel of a pre-55 Volkswagen Beetle. The body feels very strong, the metal seems thicker, and the doors shut like an old 1950s refrigerator. 6. The Beetle's enduring legacy. Now you might be wondering, why are we still talking about a car from 70 years ago? Well, let me tell you, the 1954 Beetle isn't just a car. It's a piece of history, a work of art, and for many of us, a member of the family. The 54 Beetle represents the beginning of the golden age for these cars. It's when they really started to catch on globally, becoming not just a means of transportation, but a cultural icon. One of the best things about owning a 54 Beetle, or any classic Beetle for that matter, is the community. Every time I take mine out, whether it's to a car show or just to grab some groceries, people stop to share their own Beetle stories. It's like being part of a big global family united by our love for these quirky little cars. Many folks are amazed to see an early Beetle in the flesh. But when asked, "What year is it?" and you say, 1954, most are blown away. 7. Driving experience. Let me tell you about the driving experience. There's nothing quite like cruising in a 54 Beetle. The sound of that air-cooled engine, the feel of the road through that old-school steering wheel, the way it handles, it's pure, simple driving joy. No fancy electronics, no power steering, just you and the machine working together. In general, they feel a bit heavier in this era. They can coast down the road very smoothly and not feel so much like a tin can. 8. preserving history. Owning and maintaining a 1954 Beetle isn't just about having a cool old car. It's about preserving a piece of automotive history. Every time we keep one of these beauties on the road, we're keeping the spirit of that era alive. Thankfully, we can still buy parts in today's world, thanks to the internet. Just be sure to do your homework. When in doubt, buy the better quality part. An OEM or German equivalent part is the way to go. You will thank me later. So, there you have it, folks. The amazing 1954 Volkswagen Beetle, 70 years young and still capturing hearts around the world. Whether you're a longtime Beetle owner or just appreciating from afar, there's no denying the impact this little car has had on automotive history. If you've got a 54 Beetle story of your own, or if you're thinking about getting into the classic Volkswagen scene, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. If I left anything out in this video, please also leave it in the comments section below. Until next time, keep those Beetles buzzing, and I'll see you on the road.